What's going on, everyone? This is Matt, SqueakyCleanAir. Today we are going to be working on an old school TSX. This thing is in amazing shape, and stay tuned for an installation video. So here we are. This is a TSX, Acura TSX, CCWs. Beautiful, beautiful mint, inside and out. The owner is the original owner of this vehicle. We are going to be bagging it and stay tuned as I take you through the process. It's a delight when you get cars like these that are in such meticulous shape, and we get to put them under the knife and bag them. So this is going to be a cool setup. He's currently running teen coilovers, and his wheels are super stance. They're nice, authentic CCW wheels. No XXR reps here. And this is going to be a fun project, so stay tuned. Guys, we're working on the TSX. I'm just going to show you guys where we're going to run the main power wire and the secondary wire for the secondary wiring harness for the 3P setup. So you can actually run it right through the firewall access. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of space there. You're able to remove the rubber boot. Then that exposes a plastic sort of like a bushing that's there, and the bushing allows you to sort of feed quite a big chunk of wire if you want to feed it through there. And then we're going to feed it actually from inside the car using one of these extender sticks. I'm going to tape up the wire to it and just fish it out nice and easy there, and that way we'll be able to sort of bring it out, and then later I'll make a small little cut on the rubber that's there, and then fish it out nice and clean and run it all the way through here underneath the intake up into the battery. But when you fish it through, the access actually goes to here. You can see it. You can see it protruding out right there. The fishing stick, and I'm gonna run it behind the carpet all the way in through here all the way to the back. Sizable amount of space, and right into the trunk to connect everything up. So nice and easy to fish it out through there. Bada bing, bada boom. So run the wire through there, through the firewall, all along the line over here. You guys can see all along the way on the bottom, connecting up to over here. There's the two fuses. This is a secondary compressor harness fuse. This is the main airlift fuse. And nice, tucked out of the way, nice and clean. Mint engine bay. This thing is like almost brand new. It just needs a wash, obviously, but other than that, this car has been bought brand new by this original owner in 2005. So he bought it brand new, and yeah, it's refreshing to be working on a car that like is literally like still in really good condition. I mean, these TSXs now are like rotting away, and people are trying to find these, and they're going up in value, but it's awesome. I love it. Okay, so it's kind of a rainy day today. This summer's kind of been on and off. It's been kind of like raining and warm and stuff, but we're continuing our bagging of the 2005 Acura TSX. Just in the process of doing a clean sort of a basic setup. Nothing crazy. One thing that I want to mention to you guys. So for those that might not be aware, Airlift 3P comes in two versions. They come in a threaded version, which is basically you get separate fittings and you get a manifold that's got threads on it. I always like to choose the threaded manifolds. The reason being is that it gives you the flexibility to put whatever fittings you want. Later in the future, if I want to do, for example, hardline setup, or if I want to do anything using a different kind of a fitting, or maybe I have fitting failure, I'm not stuck with a pressed manifold. That's the old generation of manifolds that they used to have before. There used to be pressed manifolds where the fittings were actually pressed in. So in order to remove those fittings, if you have a leak or anything like that on an O-ring, that goes bad inside there, because these push-to-connect fittings do go bad if you shove hardlines in them and stuff like that. It's just a better general idea to go and then do the threaded manifold. So if you guys are able to, always order the threaded manifolds because they'll give you flexibility later to do hard lines, and you guys can use compression fittings for the hard lines. So just as a tip, but I'm going to continue on setting this up. The wiring's already done in the trunk, so it's just a matter of hooking everything up. Nice and clean. I ran the lines on the sides, as you guys can see, and then here's the compressor wiring harness. The 2 relays are underneath there. I use butt connectors for the positive and negative, so it's really easy to remove the compressors. Same thing over here. This is a ground, and this is the power to the other ground and power to the other compressors, so they're easily removable. And then we have the whole manifold harness. So we're in final stages of doing the trunk, and I'm waiting for rear shocks. Unfortunately, the rear struts do not fit. They're for the 2009 and up TSX. I didn't know that there's a difference, but there is a difference on the rears. We managed to get the fronts in. Fronts are good, so just waiting on the rears. Stay tuned. Once I get the rears in, I'm gonna do a video of how the car sits on the ground, and I'll show you guys how I ran the lines. And that's pretty much it for bagging this car. All right, guys, so the fronts are in. Just a basic sort of all around with how to do the TLXs in the front, or TSXs in this case, actually. It's 2005 TSX. So ultra cymbellos you have to have. This guy has skunk to upper control arms, which is perfect because those give the most amount of clearance, as you guys can see. Doesn't even touch the spindle, so it doesn't need a shave. So ultra cymbellos is the best setup for obviously the TSXs and TLXs in general. Ran the line behind there. I like to use swivel push to connect, just because it allows the line to move freely and won't get tagged in on the way, or tagged on and pull out. So ladder line's a little bit hard there because you need to do an extender fitting to run a ladder line. It'll be too close to the slim bellow. So I do it like that, and then I do a nice little 90 and connect up to the main lines of the car. So the installation of the front super simple with all Hondas. You got the fork, obviously, so it's a 17 and 14 there. Remove it, bada bing, bada boom, off you go, right? So the way we ran the lines for this car is, it's a little bit tricky. It's easy on this side because you can run the lines all along the brake lines and all that kind of stuff, which, as you can see over there, and it goes out here and then it connects up to the top, right? With this one, you don't have that, so you can't really run it all around here without, you know, kind of tapping in onto the to the chassis. Well, we don't want to do as many taps as we need to, so I actually ran it inside here. Now you got to fish it out. You got to use a fisher to sort of fish it out, and it enters in through here. And you could do it on both sides if you want. That keeps the line protected out of the elements and stuff like that, and also allows, if you're ever going to do side splitters on the side skirts or anything like that, because you could run the lines on through the sides or the side skirts. But the problem is, if you ever put side skirts or side splitters, you might, you know, if you use a self tapper, you might actually gouge the line and break your line. So you want to avoid that. You want to run it out of the side skirts. I no longer run suspension through the side skirts just because of that factor, right? Yeah, so the other line for the other side, you know, goes through here, goes around, and then goes around the wheel well. So let me show you guys now. Right, comes out there, goes behind here, goes behind the bumper, goes through the vent, obviously inside the interior. And that's pretty much it for line management. On the other side here, unfortunately, you don't have a vent in the bumper, so it's same idea, as you guys can see. For the back, we have the ultra slim bellows, and then the lines ran like this all along with plenty of slack. This is the front line, this is the back line, and over here, a little bit of a trick. So what I had to do is I had to, in order to retain the equidistance of the lines, because you don't want to run the line through the vent and extend the length of the line. You want to sort of keep them equidistant on both sides. But unfortunately, with the Hondas, EKs, and the TSXs, and many older kind of Hondas, they only have a vent on one side. So what I usually do is I just run a line with some grommets, and that prevents it from, you know, chafing and all that kind of stuff. Put a little bit of lube in there, so if at any time the line gets tagged on or anything like that, obviously it doesn't, you know, get rid of the the grommet and stuff like that. So it's a nice grommet. That way you can run it behind here all the way up to the front. So that's pretty much all for the line management. Nice and simple. Hopefully this helps you guys out. I'm just about to drop this car on the ground and see how it sits. So here it is, aired out. Looks pretty sick. We're getting fender to lip in the rear. It can go down a little bit lower, obviously. We raised up the shock in the back, so he's got crazy rise. Front, we're getting fender to lip as well, all the way in on the ultra slim bellow bags. You want to run the ultra slim bellow bags in the front just because it gives you a lot of adjustability. You don't want to go with sleeves. I mean, sleeves will give you the nice rise that you want, but it gets a little bit sketch when it comes to the factory upper control arm. So with the sleeves, you kind of have to run, especially for the TSXs and EKs, you got to run skunk 2 upper control arms, which seems to be the best for clearance. A lot of the tubular K-tuned, or not K-Sport, the K-tune upper control arms, as well as the True Hearts tubular upper control arms don't really work really well for the TSXs and the EKs. I know what you can do also is you can take the factory upper control arm and trim it out in order for the bags to clear. Or if you're running a sleeve setup from like True Hard or from any of the other companies that, like D2 Racing or anything like that, which I don't really recommend running for Civics, EKs, or even the old TSXs, simply because of the fact that sleeves just don't ride as nice. They're a little bit wonky. I always prefer to run ultra slim bellows. If you can get away with ultra slim bellows, that's always perfect. This car is on ultra slim bellows in the rear, and obviously ultra slim bellows in the front, which is the best combination when it comes to older Hondas, which is my preferred combination, just personal preference. But yeah, this is nice. And yeah, so this is ready for pickup by my friend, and I can't wait to see this thing at a show. I think he might have to do some finer adjustments. I'm not sure if he wants to stay fender lip, you know what I mean, or whether he wants to go tucked. If he wants to go tucked, it'll be a lot easier for him to air out. If he wants to stay fender lip, he's gonna have to be careful how he airs out so he doesn't, wreck his rear fenders. That's one of the caveats when it comes to doing such stand setups. And no, kids, these are not XXRs. These are real CCWs. This is a real wheel gang here. No reps. But anyways, nothing wrong with reps, right? Just personal preference, not a preference for me. But yeah, so this is what it is. You get a nice kind of a fender lip fitment. I mean, it doesn't get as any less close than this. This is pretty much crazy, but it's sitting at about 20 psi in the back. We don't want to go to 0. If we do want to go to 0, we're going to have to obviously make it more tucked in with camber arms. He does have some camber arms, and then he'll be able to achieve a nice tucked look, and that's when you're going to get maximum drop when it comes to air suspension, is usually with a tucked look and with a lot of camber. Otherwise, if you don't want to run as much camber, you're always going to get sort of a fender to lip. But this is great. All right, so that's all she is. That's all there is to it. 2005 Acura TSX, bagged on SqueakyCleanAir air suspension and airlift 3P management with dual compressors. Enjoy. Hopefully this video helps you guys out.